und guten Morgen and welcome to AIDS 2024 from Munich, Germany. I'm Carl Schmid and this is the AIDS 2024 live daily kickoff show brought to you by the International AIDS Society and Plus Life Media. We are coming to you live from the Global Village, the heart of the conference, every morning at around 8:30 Central Summer Time, and we're also available on demand. Now, it has been an action-packed and at times highly emotional 24 hours here at AIDS 2024, and we'll have highlights for you of that in just a moment. Also coming up, I'm going to be joined by Doreen Moracha, Raif Derazi, and Catriona Gray as we chat about activists and influencers and their roles here at AIDS 2024 even. Where am I? Who knows? It's live. But first, as promised, let's take a look at just some of the highlights from yesterday, day one of officially AIDS 2024. It wouldn't be an international AIDS conference without a demonstration or two, and members of the trans and gender diverse communities made their voices heard at the official opening ceremony of AIDS 2024. Why did you pick this moment? Why was it important?
Because actually, for those of you who don't know, right before, during a couple of days, we were having a huge global trans conference with more than 200 organizations represented, and collectively we brought together an agenda that we felt was the right place to show and to showcase.
Demonstrations aside, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz helped kick things off and get AIDS 2024 officially open.
But despite these advances, we still face significant challenges.
And with AIDS 2024 officially underway, it was straight down to business.
How can we look across the board at all the diseases that are either on a pathway for control, for elimination or eradication?
Director of Global HIV, Hepatitis and Sexually Transmitted Infections for the World Health Organization, Meg Doherty, and her team tackled sustainability, monitoring disease control and elimination in one of the first big sessions of the conference. Scientists, doctors, global scholars and activists all went back to school for U equals U University. Among the important topics covered, implementing and scaling up undetectable equals untransmittable.
If you want to know anything about HIV, it would be U equals U because it gives you hope. It gives you a template, like, so, I just take my meds. If they could be once a month, awesome. If they could be once every 6 months, even better. But if I take my meds, even just every day, I don't have to worry about anything.
Conference attendees also had a unique opportunity to hear from yet another patient cured from HIV.
So I think I did a lot to support science, and of course I wanted to be assured that the HR1 reservoir is not there.
Meanwhile, over here in the Global Village, people had a chance to experience a musical on community-based approaches to HIV.
Not just entertainment, but it's also educating. So not everyone learns the same way, and what we've done at ASHA is we've used things that excite people. So the dancing, the drama, the music, all of that excitement, we've used that to educate people.
What an amazing use of song and dance, and it really is incredible talent. And I love how that they're sharing such empowering stories through artistry. Now, if you thought day one was busy at AIDS 2024, well, just you take a look at some of the incredible things that are going to be happening here today. One of the big ticket items today, a plenary session on putting people first, the way forward.
Well, let's talk about why this is still such an overwhelming epidemic. Why haven't we made progress? How do they do it? And what are we doing to make sure that we are being held accountable to the people we serve?
The conference will also address the future of the AIDS movement by and beyond the UN targets of 2030.
There are some things, of course, being discussed at the meeting that I'm pretty excited about.
And they're saying there's nothing about us without us. Young leaders and storytellers from around the world share their views on HIV.
There's a lot of voices that are not able to have representation, nor have the opportunity, nor have the privilege to be in a setting like this.
Having everyone's voices heard here at the conference is so important, especially the youth. Joining me in the Plus Life studio now, though, to talk about their roles as activists and influencers and how tools like social media are changing the way we look at HIV. From the Philippines, Miss Universe 2018, Catriona Gray. Fellow Plus Life media contributor, Raif Derazi. And one of my favorite people in the entire world, the founder of My Beautiful Story, the beautiful Doreen Moracha. Good morning, all. Thanks for getting up early and starting your day with me. Well, with all of us. I want to talk about, because you all use your platforms so well to fight stigma, to talk about HIV. So that's the topic of our conversation. Yeah, and Catriona, yeah, as I said, Miss Universe 2018, you're very popular in the Philippines as well. What is the reaction like when you're able to do your advocacy work or talk about HIV back from your followers?
I think they partake in the learning journey with me, because I always say I am just a student in this position as well as an amplifier. I never present myself to be an expert in any field. I learn every day, and especially here at the conference, it's such an incredible opportunity to continue to learn. But the response is usually one of curiosity. Sometimes there is a little bit of misunderstanding, which needs further clarification, which is the role of the community organizations that I also work with, because I am merely an amplifier. My platforms were gained through a beauty contest and through the other work that I do, but the messaging that I put out there, I hope would serve the purpose of inviting people to know more and to care more, because it's not just something to be separated by a statistic. It's not us, and something that doesn't address us means that we don't care about it.
Yeah.
We need to also take part in the plight of everyone.
Right, and you know, you mentioned something there, disinformation, right? There is so much disinformation that gets put out, especially when you take something like a topic like HIV or anything to do with LGBTQIA+. So I'm curious, none of us are medical professionals that I know of. I don't have a medical degree. You know, we are activists and we are very passionate. Some of us are living with HIV. Advice, Rafe, what would you say are things that people should be cautious about when turning to social media platforms to get advice?
I would say there are a lot of people who are purporting to be experts who aren't experts.
Oh yes, we know that.
And so be leery of anyone who is claiming to be anything other than they are. Like you said so eloquently, we are here to amplify, we're here to translate information. If we ever have questions, I think that's great too, because we're kind of a mirror for community. We have the questions that those watching us have.
We have the lived experience,
Exactly.
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about people who charge you for answers? Because there are people online, I find this shocking, that go, give me $20, I'll answer your question. And I'm like, but you're not a doctor or a medical professional.
Truly, I mean, it's upsetting for me on a moral level, especially knowing that there are so many resources that are free, and people and organizations who want to help for free. I think it's anyone who's charging money, that's off the table for me. That's not okay. It's almost like, you know, someone standing on the street waiting for tourists to say, here, I'll sell you this like map of the city.
It's the snake
for $20.
oil. It's the snake oil.
100 feet down the road, they're handing out maps for free.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are so many resources, not just for information, but for testing, for treatment, that you can get it for free.
Yeah. Catriona, you work with a bunch of these organizations.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about those, so how you get that messaging out so that people who are newly diagnosed, who are frightened, who feel completely alone, because sadly, thanks to stigma, that's how we've made the diagnosis process these days. How do the organizations you work with help? Or how do you get that information out to people?
It's really communicating what is available out there, should they wish and choose to pursue it, because I think there should always be the advocation of a choice. We have an ongoing campaign in Philippines and also in Thailand, #WhatWorksForYou. And it's a status neutral approach that really presents the choices of HIV prevention, awareness and testing, and allowing the client or the person to choose what best route that they want to take for their sexual health. I think people can get overwhelmed by the presentation of a lot of information.
I'm one of those people. Again, you start throwing numbers and grids and charts at me and I go, I can't deal with this right now.
Which is understandable, but what we try to do is create language that is more of an invitation, because of course there is an importance to all that information. None of it is able to be tossed out the window because it serves its purpose, and people should be informed to make the correct decisions for themselves. But we're constantly evolving. At the moment, we have these little chat bots that if someone wants to order a self-HIV test that can be delivered to their home, they can talk to a little chat bot there's little different avenues that we're pursuing and constantly evolving to try and make it as least intimidating as we possibly can, because stigma is really real.
Yeah.
And there is so much fear and misinformation still persisting.
After 40-something years.
Right?
And with all the amazing science.
And we are so surrounded by so much information. But I think it has gone into the direction that has overwhelmed us. And as you just pointed out and how we talked about, there is that challenge of what information should I listen to? So it is complicated, and we empathize and understand that. But as influencers and advocates, we really hope that we can continue to learn and grow with our audiences to try and communicate what the community and organizations are doing, so that the help will always be there should they choose to reach out for it.
Yeah, well, listen, from me personally, thank you to all three of you for the work you do, because I think it's a lot easier to turn to our peers when we have a question rather than go to the doctor or our parent, talk to your parents. That's lovely, and hopefully if you have those good relationships, great. But your roles and what you each do, and the many influencers and activists here at AIDS 2024 play such an important role of putting people first. So Doreen Raif Catriona, thank you so much for spending your morning with me. That is going to do it for us this morning. We will be back here with another daily kickoff show tomorrow morning at around 8:30, give or take a second or two, Central summertime, European summertime, and we're on demand as well. Also, if you're here at the conference, come by and say hello to us in the Plus Life studio here in the Global Village. And remember, you can like, follow, and share Plus Life Media. We are at Plus Life Media across all social platforms. And use the hashtag AIDS2024 PlusLife. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.